and you know, Mark, play-by-play truly in his head. We just go off results, and it's not results-based analysis, guys. It is simply vibes, clearly, that we've picked to go off of. But we are seeing some slight adaptations already. The Ambessa coming through in the bans instead of in the picks. Skarner takes his place back on the red side alongside Kalista and Rumble. And with that Jace taken off the board, there's also an Ezreal taken off the board as well. The Aurora also a pick that we've seen banned out, or rather picked a couple of times. So we are going to get to see some new champions take to the stage, be it in that mid lane, be it in that bot lane. Karis had a relatively good Aurora game out that we've just seen, but with Monki not looking into that Wukong this time, going straight for that Vine, knowing that Ezreal's banned, we are going to get to see some AD carry, some form of bot laner, hate their life.
Ooh, and Xiaohao is already flashing the signature on Draven. But we're not getting the on Draven this time around. We're getting a Ziggs.
And that was why I hesitated to say an AD carry, because I kind of felt the second that I saw Varus' Vi locked in, I don't want to play any AD carry versus this. Like, you could give me anything that's not Ezreal, and I'll be thinking, no thank you. So lock in the Ziggs, make the bot lane boring, but make it consistent, and that's what we're going to see from Aunt and Link this time around. The Rakan locked in now for Karis, giving a solid cohesive engage for WE. They've got now the Varus to fire a little bit of poke, they've got the Rakan and the Vi to go diving together, and now they need some real DPS over the top. We need something from Karis in that mid lane that will just work, right? Thinking things like Ahri, like Orianna as well, to add that little bit of kill threat into the mid lane and make that mid jungle duo a little bit more deadly as well.
And the funny thing is that WE not necessarily having to do homework for EDG's composition, because what EDG was drafting was very similar to the game-winning composition that Team WE piloted against Anyone's Legend in their series in the first split, which was Monki's first series with Team WE. Just trying to deny what could have been a massive amount of burst and poke from Jason Ziggs, setting up the Viego as they continue on with the bans. Also denying an Azir as well, which could be strong disengage to try and stop what is so far a solid dive combo out of the Vi and the Rakan.
Yeah, and I mean, they do have an option here to try and pivot. They can also look to something like the Sylas as well. There's already a good couple ultis to try to take away in that Ziggs in the Leona as well. And that pairs up nicely with the Vi as well, but you're taking it blind, you can get open to counterpick. They take it anyway.
Nice.
So it looks really good on paper to pair up with what they've got. Now your question becomes, well, can we go Cassio? Can we go Galio? Can we really punish this for taking the Sylas blind?
EDG still have a jungler to lock in, and then either they're going to send this Jace into the mid lane if they like the matchup into the Sylas, or pick something new for Angel, and that just might be the answer, going and opting in for a blind pick top laner for ZDZ, taking the Gnar. And now how do we round this out? There is magic damage already in the Ziggs, so you could go triple AD, but EDG might think to splash just a little bit of extra magic damage, and the fact that Team WE, other than Varus, relatively short range and melees, Lilia could be a great way to punish that.
Yeah, not too sure how I'm sold on the Lilia versus Vi in particular, right? Lilia is a champion that succeeds against skill shot champions, right? She has so much movement speed, but Vi, you just get locked down. But they've actually done an almost double flex here. I mean, Sylas into Gnar is also a very good Sylas matchup. You steal away the Sylas or the Gnar ulti, and you can win that win that 1 versus 1 as well. So I would expect to see the Corki go into the mid lane. But for the time being here, well, it's not the case, and Karis is still the one with the Sylas. And is this a Corki top lane for Cube?
Wait until the 20-second mark. Or, you know what? I'm just going to wait until the 0-second mark. I'm going to wait. I just want to make sure we're not getting bamboozled, and it's not like, you know, a graphic error on the stream side. But if this is it, Cube is saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to match range for range and get probably a free scaling Corki in the top side and still allow Karis to match the Jace with the Sylas, the melee on melee matchup.
Yeah, I mean, hey, sure, that sounds good to me. I think that the Corki versus the Gnar. You offset any of the early pressure that the Gnar was going to look to try and put down, because he typically just bullies melee laners, but obviously you're playing the Corki, so there's no melee laner to bully. I might have liked to see Sylas go into the Gnar, just because it is, you know, pretty decent matchup for him anyway. But we are still going to get to see that Sylas versus Gnar interaction as we get later on into the game. I mean, there's Ziggs plus Leona ultis as well. Very good to steal. The Lilia one a little more difficult to steal effectively. Same to be said for the Jace one. You pretty much never want to steal away Jace ulti if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for Karis this game, a lot of opportunity to make that name for himself.
I'm just really impressed with the flexibility and adaptation from Team WE in this final pick. I'm about to go through Cube's match history and see if he has ever played a Corki top laner or a top lane in his entire career. Probably not, but you know, considering we had an entire split of playing a bunch of 1v1s for side select, you know, maybe Cube ran some Corki 1v1s with Karis, you know, just to like get familiar with the matchup, as Team WE are actually sending a full squad just to get vision control and ensure that ZDZ doesn't get an early ward down, just to give Cube that extra edge in the 1v1.
So Cube has played one Corki game, and it was a loss. I can't tell you when or where, but he has got one on his match history, which is an L for him. He did have a 6 KDA, which is, you know, not bad at all. But it's worth noticing that it was a loss. So we'll keep our tracks and make sure, see if he can 50-50 that win rate.
Where'd you get that? Did you go to GOL?
I did, and then I did indeed, and then I clicked all. See, powerful. Back in season 9, I've been reliably informed.
Oh, that was a long time ago. You know what? I think season 9 was the. It might have been like where there's a bunch of ranged top laners. Like, wasn't there like a Vayne top and a Kalista top meta at that point, and the Shy was doing like some really heinous stuff? That could have been it.
Corki versus Vici Gaming in 2019 summer.
Oh, Vici Gaming, man, that's a squad I haven't heard of in.
You know, that graphic is probably going to fly. You know, the LPL love a lower third of when the last champion was played. True. I feel like maybe it wasn't he that played Corki top last, but Xiaohao.
No, Monki. Do either of them have smite? Well, Xiaohao does, and he yoinks away the Gromp, and now Monkey's in trouble. I think he's going to have to flash. Oh. He didn't land the blooming blows. Monkey is actually safe, but he's definitely not happy to not have the Grom.
No, he's not. Now, I mean, Monkey did get blue buff. I mean, Xiaohao just watching Monkey. How much of a... So do you remember was it Kanavi Nidalee that just went between the two turrets?
Yes.
That type of sociopathic behavior. It was seemingly what Xiaohao was looking towards, but Monkey going to be able to move in, pick up at least a couple of his camps on the top side, probably all of them to be fair.
Yeah.
But Xiaohao now probably going to clear up to, or move up to his top side to defend that.
Oh, there it is, as you called it. Oh, really?
2024. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, well, not that long ago.
No, but you know, Cube did it in season 9, and that's the last time he did it, so that's the important thing.
See, that's the narrative that I'm here to support.
Yeah,
on the LPL English unofficial broadcast. As we're 3 minutes in, not much action other than Xiaohao being a bully and forcing Monkey away from 2 of his camps. As we got an engage from Wink, a nice use of the satchel charge to blow Vampire up and away just for extra chip damage. But now, all these guys are level 3 on more even footing. We got crabs spawning in just a few seconds, and because Xiaohao took an extra bit of time to just take away Monkey's camps, he's still matching level 3 for 3, so he doesn't have an insane level advantage on this guy yet, but he is going to opt into fully clearing out his top camps and then looping back around to the bot side, where he will get that level advantage and should have enough prio to fight for the bot grab.
Yeah, and as well, right, as we look at this game and what WE are looking to do, they are engaging on that bot side. Quick little knock up into a disengage.
Wow.
One's burned already. Okay, so a couple summoner spells going down for WE. They've already used Summoner Heal a little bit earlier on off screen, and Now On, in fairness, out of mana, so he's going to need to take a recall, but he's got teleport, so it won't be the worst thing in the world when that does need to happen. And I think for both of these sides as well, it's going to be so difficult for how they look to play out these fights rather as we move later and later. It's going to rely so heavily on both of these ranged units. So things like your Jace and your Ziggs providing the poke for EDG is going to go very favorably, but the same to be said for Cube and Taeyoon as well. We saw the power of a very fed Varus in game number 1, where Light was able to use this poke Varus to his advantage to take down exactly EDG.
Yeah, I mean, Team WE are pretty much biting a little bit of what EDG wanted to do with their composition, right? If you're able to get to objectives first, you set up the minefield, you poke with the Jace Shock Blast and the bombs from Ziggs, and then you net yourself a health advantage in being able to set up advantageously for those objectives. But Team WE, they're bringing just a little bit of extra poke power now that Corki's in the lineup, and you're also denying what could have been another melee champion that Lilia could have abused fairly easily in these long extended team fights. Now Xiaohao is going to have just a bit more difficult time in navigating them.
Crash comes through on that bot lane, and that was the goal for WE there. On doing a pretty good job at attempting to keep that freeze, but a reminder that he's just going to push this wave, match recalls, and should come out relatively even in that bot lane. Taeyoon likely to miss the majority of this wave, despite his ability to sort of speed his way back out of the fountain. On will be able to get a wave crashed underneath it and even up what was a slight CS advantage for the WE bot side. Wink, the first one to make his way up to that top side as well in lieu of these grubs. Reminder that Xiaohao will have that level lead from the early steal away and will look to try to take this fight. It's going to be 5 versus 4. Looking at the minimap, On's on their way.
Xiaohao gets the smite on the first grub, secures it for themselves. Karis trying to get a little closer to threaten, steals the solar flare, but the rest of WE are forced out of the grub pit. And Xiaohao, even though forced to use the first smite, is actually going to secure all 3 grubs for himself. And EDG, that's the power of the level advantage for your jungler.
Oh, hello, we've gone in there. Yeah, that's a mistake. I think not knowing the vampire was around, he bends his flash on. He loses out on 5 out of 6 creeps of experience down in that bot side, but secures his team 3 grubs. So overall, you can call worth for it, and probably neutralizes what we saw Taeyoon miss under the bot lane turret as well from that early crash and reset. For On though, a chance at redemption. I think game number 1 was a little bit of a fumble from him on the Ezreal. We didn't get to see the full extent of what an Ezreal can do. Now on this Ziggs, he's going to have to try and leverage that long range again to stay safe, as well as not make sure that he doesn't go down and make sure that he's able to pump out the DPS in these fights, because looking at the composition that they've got, EDG, in terms of raw DPS, they've not got a lot. In terms of fits and spurts of damage, the Jace can do very well. The Lilia as well can do pretty darn well. But you're looking mainly at On just with those repetitive bouncing bombs again and again to source your DPS in the fights.
I mean, unironically, your most sustained damage is going to come from the Lilia come late game, when she is just zooming around these team fights as a solar flare. Oh, that's right. Karis had stolen it, and it was running out of time, so might as well just throw it out for good measure. Is now ZDZ having to deal with the fact that he doesn't have the range advantage anymore playing against the Corki, and trying to at least trade blow for blow and maintain somewhat a health equalization here, as he's trying to catch the minion wave and get a little bit of a freeze on it. I'm not sure if it's going to maintain its position here, as it looks like ZDZ just wants to push it back out and get a chance to base with probably a decent amount of cash in his pocket.
We'd like to think so. Probably working his way onto his first item to begin with. Trinity Force in the works for Cube as well, who cancels his recall in lieu of catching that wave. Resets back out to the mid lane once again, so Wink now here ready to help out Angel. Can move down toward this bot side for the Dragon, can move up toward the top side as well to try and punish Cube for sticking around. Looks like it's a reset to be coming through for Angel, but Xiaohao's here. You can see Wink as well on the minimap, working his way slowly up towards this top side, and all in all, very slow paced, very quiet early game. No kills just yet. Gold pretty much dead even. That's why we have to think that it's all about who can play the range that bit better. Lilting Lullaby
immediately forces the flash out of Cube. Vampire under fire.
early poke,
and the Ignite is burning him down, but because Monki arrives to the party, should mean that Team WE is safe from harm here now. Monki, oh, that was an aggressive vault breaker forward. Yeah, I'm about to say the solar flare comes out, and now Monki is forced to flash. Gonna get another Q over the wall. Might be safe, but they're gonna continue to chase, and here comes them downtown Mega Inferno Bomb. They're forced to dash back into EDG's waiting arms. Maybe Karis can equalize things, and we'll find one onto Wink alongside Cube, but EDG managing to punish a slight execution error from Monki and just overstepping with that Q.
Karis has flash. If he gets tagged by the slow, he's not going to be able to find it. I think without getting hit by that slow there, he could probably look to flash on and take down Xiaohao as well. But EDG coming out just barely on top. Not just in the fact that it's a 2 versus 1, but again, look at the waves that are being caught. Taeyoon moves up to the mid lane to catch the wave that Karis drops to go up there. But then there's nobody bot lane. And it means that there's a wave now hitting that turret for free that Angel is getting uncontested with free time on that turret. So that's probably going to be a couple of plates as well for the Jace. It's going to be unanswered gold until Cube TP's in.
And Angel doesn't have flash from before when he got sprung by Vampire just a couple minutes ago. But WE don't have enough damage to actually punish.
Okay, this is a really good play then for EDG overall. They will take that advantage quite happily, you'd like to think, and probably run with it as well. 2 kills for ZDZ, who's in this counter matchup. Now moving down to the spot side.
And Cube doesn't have flash either from the play on the top side. Angel punts him away with the hammer, and Wink has just got to get in range to land down some CC. Zenith Blade into the Shield of Daybreak, and just one more auto attack. It's not even that. It is the W popping, and down goes Cube.
So does give up the Void Grubs for this. Fortunately, Xiaohao was able to walk in, snipe away one of them before Monki walks up, so no feat of objective stack going over to WE for this one. And in fairness, with the feat of warfare having already gone over to EDG, we may end up seeing the first turret be the thing that decides who ends up securing those feats of strength. Even still, though, a little bit of a replay of what happened on this top side, and one of the lesser-known qualities, maybe lesser appreciated qualities of Lilia, and one that we'll have to keep a track of as we move later on into the game, is her ability to poke as well. Those swirl seeds are devastating the later you go, and Monki, he's just thinking about the little Krugs. That's all he wants. He wasn't looking to take a fight. Instead, he hops in just that little too far forward, flashes out, but he gets followed up on, and another swirl seed comes through. Mega Inferno Bomb on one side, Vampire baited in on the other. Yes, they lose Wink, but again, the exact right person that you'd want to lose. You'd lose your support if you get 2 kills in response, and they do that exactly right.
Yep. Not the ideal scenario for Team WE, and the fact that EDG walk away, as you called it, with the important carries alive, and then on top of it, as you called out afterwards, Angel getting some plates for himself, and then surviving the collapse, and then on top of it, getting a collapse down onto Cube. I mean, it just went from bad to worse on the side of Team WE. Now, the good thing for them, the gold lead is not that steep. It is still just a solid 1,000 in the advantage of EDG, and there's still chance for Team WE with the composition that they have assembled to turn it around. They just gotta wait for these item spikes to come online. It just might require a little bit more patience to stall out the game, since neither of these teams have actually taken the first dragon. So if I'm Team WE, I'm just saying you can have this one.
Yeah, I think poking from ahead is obviously a lot easier. You have control over vision, you can go for Fog of War spells, and now Karis and ZDZ duking out on that top side. ZDZ dropped his boomerang, so won't be able to chase too much further. We are also in this sort of midst of a stalemate, a 4 versus 4. High Child's Flash, your big ticket engage for EDG, not quite available. Monki just off on the side, off on the wings here.
He's just trying to threaten his own poke as well. Now Xiaohao dips, tries to force Cube away. The dragon momentarily limps over to Team WE. The Solar Flare looking for Taeyoon. Still has a flash and cleanse, Mega Inferno Bomb, decent amount of damage. Xiaohao getting blasted by an empowered arrow. Here comes the teleport as well. And that's enough for Team WE to say, okay, yeah, we cannot fight for this dragon anymore. ZDC joins the fray. Does Monki really want to fight this one? He's going head in first with only Vampire at his side. This just seems really weird from the side of Team WE. And I don't know what Monki thought that he was going to pull off.
Well, what he pulled off was an extra 300 gold in the back pocket of EDG, and now Cube may be the one in trouble under this bot turret. On doesn't have a lot of mana, and I don't think they'll be able to take the turret in the face. Never mind, Ziggs.
Oh no, Cube overstaying, thinking that that turret was going to save him, but Ziggs, my friend, has a powerful way to blow up turrets faster than you might think.
Yeah, the satchel there, 20% or 25% execution threshold. Devastating, and Q ends up falling under that turret. The Corki win rate not looking great for Cube, and not showing too many signs of getting that much better. I think the later we go in this game as well, definitely favour the range that EDG have to play at. You know, you can use theoretically global poke with the Lilia Swirl Seeds, Boomerang Blades, and then you've got the bouncing bombs coming through, your Shock Blasts as well. Really solid poke composition picked up for EDG. The engage for WE has been disjointed as well. Vampire and Monki, the reason that they sort of lost out in the last game was because those two weren't quite on the same page, and same to be said again for this game. They're going to need to be exactly on point with one another to get in and get out on the right targets, or they will end up just falling.
And I just want to point something out as, hang on, Karis looking for on. Oh, clips him in the middle of the satchel charge. That forces the flash under the Ziggs. Nice look there from Team WE. At least there's a Summoner Spill gone from on Ziggs. Will make him an easier target for a future fight. But something I want to point out here, Rude, is that in the first two games, both EDG and Team WE showed a very competent and very surprising look against some of our top teams. And I was expecting that because of how close Team WE was against BLG, that we were going to get a real slugfest between these two. And then you mentioned in the green room, what if this third match just turns out to be a stomp? It's not over yet, Rude, but the way the game is progressing, Team WE, I dare say, are playing a little underperforming compared to what we got against BLG, who should be a tougher opponent than EDG. And I don't know if that is just maybe Monki feeling a little uncomfortable on the Vi pick, trying to force fights, maybe getting a little too antsy, and that's where you're seeing a lot of the little mistakes here and there on the top side, fishing for the Krugs, not realizing, hey, I'm a Vi. Once I Q in, I've got no way out on the bottom river, thinking, I'm forcing this play with no help around me. What am I expecting to get off here?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, because you also have to think about how not having a top lane tank alters your expectations as well. As a Swirl Seed comes through, spots Monki on this Rift Herald and spots WE probably in a position that they ought not to be in. EDG maybe playing a little bit more for turrets, but now looking for a fight.
Oh, that solar flare is gorgeous, clipping Monki right in the heart of the fight, forced to flash away, but Taeyoon blows up Wink before the rest of EDG can really follow up on the play, and just like that, we thought it looked good for EDG, but they lose two members and WE don't lose a single man.
Yeah, and it's because EDG are split in their call again. This entire game has revolved around who's making the play together. WE commit entirely to the fight, but what actually happened was EDG split their resources. Xiaohao takes down the Herald and yes, secures it, but he's not there to be a part of that fight, not there to provide the massive teamfight tool of a Lilting Lullaby. Angel falls, Wink falls, and EDG, they sacrifice two members to secure the Rift Herald. I think it's something that they're happy to have done, but it will give some gold back over to WE and put it right back into Taeyoon.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the replay. I like the look from EDG. I mean, that is a spot-on solar flare. You even got the cleanse from Taeyoon. But then, as you called it out, Rude, the split comes in here on which targets to focus down.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just crossing that threshold as well. Walking up that ramp is so tricky when there's 5 members of WE stood posted up, you know, ready to turn and hit you. So trying to cross that is really tricky, and, you know, fair play to the EDG members that did it. They ended up going down. The ones that didn't sort of recognize that choke is a little too dangerous. And it didn't end up being even that they were massively split. It's just that we didn't see Xiaohao get into that backline, was a little bit too tunneled on that Rift Herald, being a feature of the fight, and ends up securing it, but sort of selling out a couple of his teammates.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the flaw that we found in EDG in their match against Weibo Gaming kind of rears its head in that moment right there, where EDG feel confident on the engage, and they overplay their hand, not being content with the fact that they got two essentially summoner spells off of Taeyoon and Monki, and just backing off and respecting, as you called out, the choke point that they cannot actually cross in that instance. And now EDG, they still walk away with the Herald. They're still up around 2,000 gold. The game is still in their hands to control. But those are the moments where EDG just have to be a little more cognizant and a little more restrained, or show a little more restraint, and just knowing how far their limits can actually be pushed.
Yeah, and it's all about just ensuring that they are in the correct places at the correct time. And with that mentioned, time has come where teams need to return their attention back down to that bot side. Between Ziggs and the Rift Herald, they should be able to take this tier 1 turret without too many problems. and then leverage that into a dragon as well. Mid prio in their favor, but look at Vampire. He's very deep here. ZDZ's on a flank that he will be scouted, but that pink ward is going to cause big trouble for Vampire. As soon as he crosses round that corner, he's going to get spotted, he's going to get seen, and that's going to give up the ghost very, very quickly. He does notice in there, there's a little ward that spots it, but it's hard for WE.
The vision cone is just so small, but as you called out, if Vampire ever crosses that threshold, which he is now, WE secured the dragon for themselves, and now Vampire tries to cross over to Karis. That solar flare, all they get over the wall. The up's going to abduct in the battle dance, and now they turn right onto ZDZ. Blow him up before he gets to go mega. And like you said, Rood, once again, EDG just a little too far forward, not content with the wins that they already get, and they get punished for it.
I mean, in fairness, EDG got nothing from that anyway. They were desperate because they got mid-tier 1, but then afterwards thought about fighting the Drake that had already gone down. WE come in, they snipe away the dragon. They find a quick kill afterwards because ZDZ just tosses himself into the midst of all 5 members. And again, you know, it's about these split-second decisions that people need to recognize and quite where your position is relative to your team. Take another look at this once again. So the Drake goes down, Vampire gets spotted out. This is all fine here on both sides, but the second ZDZ jumps this wall, he's left 3 members of his team that cannot help. Blue ward in, and there's a 5-man of WE waiting in the tri-brush to help him out. And now bot lane, Cube's in trouble.
Uh-oh. Well, looks like Cube was on the wrong side of the tracks here. Probably just overstaying for an extra wave of farm. We've definitely experienced it before. Not ideal for Team WE, but it does open up a window for Karis to take a tier 1 turn on the top side uncontested. As Taeyoon does have flash, does have cleanse, should not be in trouble on just trying to protect the wave as he pushes it in. And with the power of Ziggs and Xiaohao, this should be a tier 2 going to the way of EDG. And the map opens up even further. Yeah.
This champion is so brain dead, it's great. You just push bombs and you just clear waves. It's incredible. He's able to take the turret as well. Auto attack quickly. Job done, yes.
Oh. I thought Monki, considering how aggressive he's played in this game so far.
He's about to press R. He's saying
yeah,
he's sick of
he was about to cease and desist this little Yordle baby, but he shows restraint, good character development, just making sure that he doesn't go over in his head without the support of his team. They just move in, trying to contest this blue buff at the moment. Stage completed for ZDC. There's the cease and desist. Looking for the backline. Once again, Xiaohao is the target. Goes golden with the stasis, and that's a big lilting lullaby. Does it stall the fight long enough? Answer is yes, it does. Vampire, Monki, both on the run, but he cannot escape the wrath of Angel's Jace as Cube Fuzz find one return kill back on the wing. But Cube is going to teleport the heck out of there and make sure that he doesn't give another kill over to EDG.
Yeah, and that's a real big blow for WE. They committed so heavily to making that play onto Xiaohao, who lives in the end. And once again, it's Wink who goes down. And this is one of those games where you look at support KDA and you think, wow, Wink, you know, how is he dying so much more than the rest of his team? But actually, he's just the one that needs to be dying, right? If you're going to give up one member who gives all of their health bar to a fight, absolutely make it your support. And Wink, I think, is having a pretty stellar game on the Leona in terms of just mechanics as well, making sure that he is where he's supposed to be and when. A voracious Atacon picked up now for EDG as well. And you can see Wink, he's just the one in the front line, but immediately turns around, 3-man solar flare on top of Xiaohao, who's able to then 3-man sleep and then layer up for the Ziggs to come on through. In terms of the way in which these teams are playing with one another, EDG's synergy was just beautiful.
No, it's rude. I think in EDG's position now, solid 3,000 gold advantage. I want to remind everyone that because of the new format for Split 2 and the fact that every game matters, we kind of built and propped up this match to be the most important for both of these teams, because this is going to be the squad for both EDG and WE that you are most expected to be competitive with. The fact that they were, you know, kind of close with Weibo and BLG respectively before this matchup gave us a lot of excitement to look forward to and how, you know, much of a banger this match could be. And although it has been a little flippy-floppy, it's mostly been soundly in the control of EDG. And if EDG walk away with a win here, then Team WE are really in a tough position going forward for the rest of the group stage.
And it's nice as well to see this EDG roster succeed, right? They're one of the few teams that have actually made a change to their roster in the entirety of the LPL. Period, right? I know that we're in a game of where there's 2 of the roster changes already, but with Arn and Wink being reunited down on that bot side, it's good to see that Wink is still pretty much on fire, knowing what he's supposed to be doing. And in terms of redemption games for Arn, after game number 1 where it was unfortunately a little bit left missing from the Ezreal performance, on this Ziggs, again, just demolitionist, really. He's taken 3 turrets easily that I've seen, and now looking for a 4th.
And Solar Flare from Wink just opens up space for EDG to continue the siege. Decent chunk on to Karis, but not enough to really threaten him away from the defense of the turret. Team WE are going to take their leave now, though, knowing that there is some time before a wave actually gets a chance to crash, so they'll take their bases. Baron is up for the taking. Also, the 3rd dragon has spawned, so that is where EDG's eyes are set, as they'll finish off this objective and probably get in some bases, too.
Move their way back out toward that top side, maybe make tier 2 turret the focus of their attention for the time being. But overall, again, a relatively solid little sequence from EDG as they find themselves now 3-4k gold to the good, and it's spread evenly amongst your top and your jungler. Good to see that they've got an advantage in that side lane, that ZDZ can probably go toe-to-toe with Cube without too many difficulties, and that Xiaohao as well on this Lilia, one of the later picks in the draft. You know, caught me a little bit by surprise, wasn't particularly happy with how well it'd be able to function, but so far it is operating incredibly well and getting, you know, 5 out of 9 kill participation, not bad, most on his team, and making sure that he's not dying either with those Merc Treads, with the Zhonyas also. Very, very good opening for the Lilia's campaign.
Yeah, and a lot of Lilias would like to just power farm that 2nd item to be like a Rift Maker, but Xiaohao, not being greedy, knows that he is one of the few members that can reliably engage or will be one of the players that WE will want to try and jump on first. Goes for the Zhonya's 2nd item rush. It was so crucial in that fight on that top side blue quadrant where WE tried to spring the trap on the Xiaohao, bought so much time with the Lilting Lullaby into the stasis, and now he's one of the strongest members where you can't just blow this Lily up for free. You're going to have to be super careful about the target selection and how fast you execute the play.
Okay, so now for EDG, question becomes how do they close out this game, right? They've got themselves this small advantage, and I think that if they're playing for a wait till soul kind of angle, we could probably, you know, be a little bit sad about that. 8 minutes before either team gets a soul, so it's probably going to be looking to leverage this mid prio that they will always have when they've got the Ziggs. Make sure now with that Void Staff in the back pocket that you are pushing your wave mid lane and moving to that side lane. If you get just a small opportunity to hit a turret as a 3-item Ziggs, it melts before you. And I think that if they can take those tier 2 turrets in top, in bot, they will then have enough gold to take pretty much any fight that they're after. For WE, their question is how do we stop this game from ending, and honestly it's the power of their wave clear. Corki Varus do pretty darn well at keeping those waves out from underneath your turrets.
Taeyoon, especially on this Varus, is going to have to really step up and be a clutch factor in being able to turn this game around. The rest of his team is overall down 4,000 gold, but he is one of the few members that... Oh, what? Monki! Monki, where are you there? The flash, and he gets the Vault Breaker over the wall, and he's safe for now, but the Leandri's Charmin might burn him down. Thankfully, the clutch heal from Vampire will save his jungler, but... Oh, man, Rood, that was tough to watch.
That's a pink ward you cannot be going for, my good sir. Now, you will learn from your mistake. You will now walk back to base and walk out from base with 40% HP for fear of this Baron going down. And EDG started it up, but I think they need to be a little careful. Still an opportunity for WE to bounce back. They're not so far ahead, EDG, that they can just YOLO any Baron they see. Yeah,
thankfully for Team WE, EDG don't have the damage to actually rip it. Oh, 3-man Lilting Lullaby. Vampire could be the first one to fall, but no one from EDG can get in range to follow up. It does threaten WE away from control of the map for now, but EDG can't really force the Baron off the play either.
So his 2 summoner spells burned there. I think Cube flashed out as well, and they got the cleanse from Taeyoon. So a couple of really big ticket spells for this next Drake fight that's going to be coming up off cooldown. Taeyoon's not going to have cleanse. Lilting Lullaby will be back up and ready. And if we see WE think about trying to contest that dragon, probably going to take a fight that is now at a disadvantage, or an even bigger disadvantage.
And the chances for Taeyoon to make use of the small gold advantage is going to be even harder now if he gets tagged by a stun from a solar flare or a lilting lullaby, or he gets gnarred into the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be praying that Vampire's Mikhail's Crucible is up to bail him out and so he can flash away and reposition. He did such a massive amount of work in when WE were making it close against BLG on that Corki. Maybe he can make some magic again here and pulling it back for Team WNE.
And now it's about this dance around the mid lane. Are we going for Baron? Are we going for Dragon? What's our call here? 2 teams that had disappointing split ones, looking to, at the very least, make it into that 3rd place of the group. Remembering that 3rd place, relatively important in the LPL in this group stage format that we've got. An opportunity for you to make it into the Ascend group if you make it into 3rd still. With WE and EDG, I think that this could be, we know that this is going to be your 3rd place match, right? This is the expected outcome, that these 2 teams are going to be battling for 3rd, and they can snipe away a win against one of the other 2 teams. Maybe that probably gives them the edge.
Oh, they're looking for On. Tries to flash away, but Vampire and Monki cease and desist
Still
combo.
alive.
It's just not enough. They can't layer the damage on top of the CC chain. On totally fine, and the rest of WE is compromised. Cube and Taeyoon forced to retreat, and EDG still have all 5 members to rock that Baron down to 0.
Yeah, and On just flashes away from the damage. It's beautiful. He still gets hit by the cease and desist, but there's not enough space for the follow-up. Taeyoon can't quite get the damage down, and even without any real defensive items, On is just able to sort of walk it out, uses his flash and gets out to safety. But with Baron now at their backs, they can go down to the Dragon as well, and I hope their poke composition, Ziggs in a siege composition, is disastrous to try to play against. Well, they can go back to base, put themselves in a very good stead, probably to end this game.
They're pretty much one good fight away from closing this game out and netting their first win of the 2nd split. So you take a look back at this fight, try to see where WE was trying to make the magic happen.
Yeah, and you can sort of get the idea, okay, if On steps past this this threshold, then maybe we'll go for a play. But it's just a little bit too overzealous. If he steps upon this mid wave, again, it's that pulling of the trigger, that step too soon. Vampire sees him and he's just flashed far too far away.
Yeah, and it's just really good defensive play from Wink. He recognizes that the only person that can deal damage in effective range is Karis. Immediately walks up, stuns him in the face, prevents him from getting there. And another fight. Hang on. Vampire tries to lead the charge, gets out alive, and at least dissuades the fight for now. But a lot of health bars are chunked. Angel below 50% HP.
Perfect. EDG are playing this slow, so that ZDZ can do the pushing down on the bot side. He's got a wave down there. He's now just turned to mini Gnar, so we'll be able to get through that turret quite quickly. This is a split push Gnar, by the way. Wits End, Trinity Force, Sterax. This guy, not particularly tanky. Got a lot of HP and effective HP to work with, but he's melting people on side. Tier 3 falls mid lane. It's going to fall bot lane as well. And WE are just lost.
EDG, as you called it, playing the slow game, being patient, not trying to be overzealous in how fast they try to close this game out, playing with the Baron advantage, using the power of this Ziggs to destroy these turrets left, right, and center. And just like that, Rude, 2 inhibitors fully blasted open as Karis is now looking for a flank, but he got spotted on the minion wave. So now they know this guy has Mega Gnar ulti. He is looking for the play on a flashless Ziggs. The rest of EDG just have the position to defend.
Chain hits, chain hits.
On might be the target, but he only clips Angel. That's not the ideal engage for Karis. Vampire tries to salvage the play. The lilting lullaby from Xiaohao will ward off the rest of WE from being able to collapse, and Monki gets blown up. Cube and Taeyoon try to hold the front line against EDG, but their Nexus towers are falling. Cube forced to flash. Same as Taeyoon, ZDZ goes Mega, and just like that, EDG clean house. GG, well played. They're victorious over Team WE.
The On and Wink duo find their first win reunited in the LPL. It's on an EDG roster this time that takes a game against WE. They will play each other again on Wednesday, but this is a big step for EDG in their opportunity to play in that qualifier stage, for them to make it to that third place in the group and hope that they can perform in the qualifiers, perform in the Ascend group when we get to that second round of the stage of Split 2.
And we can't state enough how important it is for EDG to net this particular win against Team WE, because this puts them in strong contention for at least third seed. And not to take any credit away from EDG and their potential to maybe, break into the top 2 seeds, considering that they were somewhat close against Weibo Gaming for the first 18 minutes, who knows, right? But at least just based on paper and what we have come to know about all 4 of these teams, where everyone should be expected to fall, this is the kind of the best what you're hoping for as EDG. And if they continue ramping up from here, great. Then they can push into that upper echelons of tier.
Yeah, and maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't, and maybe just beating WE is the take home that they can have. But even still, they take that, and then they can use this chance now to play in the qualifier. If they qualify for the Ascend stage, they then get to play lots of really good matches. And yes, it feels awful if you get your, if you're just getting beat up every weekend on comp games. But just being in that Ascend stage means that you are guaranteed to play in summer as well, right? Like, that's one of the consequences for 2 of our teams in the LPL of Split 2. 2 of them don't play summer, right? This is it for 2 of this is the final split that some of our teams will end up playing in 2025, which is crazy to be saying in March, right?
Yeah.
But just getting as many wins on the board now can be so important, and is so important as well.
Yeah, and it goes to show that both EDG and Team WE, knowing how possible it is for them to be one of the teams that misses Summer Split altogether. That's why they made the roster swap in between the first and second split. They felt that it was the most necessary to give them that extra edge, that extra boon in performance. And, for EDG, it was reuniting On and Wink. And, so far, at least in the early 2v2, it's paying off. There's still some left to be desired when it comes to the later stages of the game as a duo, particularly for On, and just making sure that he is positioning well, as you called out during his Ezreal game. But I think Wink is having a fairly solid, respectable showing in his first 2 games so far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, Wink was no problems with Wink this time round. I mean, some of the drawbacks that you so frequently see from supports is that they're warding a place where they're not supposed to be. Well, I think that the issue that we're seeing this time round is a little bit of overzealousness, and it comes from Monki. I think for WE, there were a couple of times where we're just thinking, actually, you probably can't be hitting that ward. You actually can't queue through 4 Krugs into the enemy just for 60 gold. It looks really rough on paper, and in the eyes that you see, you're like, wow, okay. But in that moment, in that split second, you'd be thinking, I need this gold, I'll do it to be done with the consequences, and then you are immediately punished with the consequences of your actions. And maybe that is just a little bit of that rookie nature that we're getting from Monki, right? He had 1 good game for WE in split number 1, and we need to see him sort of dial back into that style more so than just getting caught out in positions where he shouldn't be.
Yeah. I'm going to chalk it up to a little bit of Vi protest, where if you're a rookie jungler known for playing carry picks, and then your team tells you you're playing Vi this game, and you're like, no, I don't think I will.
I think I would rather throw my life away 3 times, and then you'll never make me pick Vi again.
That is best case scenario. And then your team's like, well, we can't put him on Vi, guys, because then he's just going to be kind of careless with his cues and where he goes, since it is a one-way trip once you go forward. Who knows? Maybe in the next EDG game we see later today against BLG, Monki, or not EDG, WE against Weibo Gaming, I should say. We'll get a chance to play something a little more in his wheelhouse, what he made a name for himself in the LDL. But taking a look at the post-match graphic, I mean,
it's not good when you're out-damaged by enemy support. That's the takeaway.
Oh, no! Oh, no.
That's the takeaway. Maybe if enemy supports Vel'Koz or Brand or something, we can make an excuse when it's Leona. Bad news. But even still, right, looking at where the beneficial parts of this WWE roster are, I do think that Taeyoon is playing about as or up to a level that is serviceable for the LPL. I think he's doing, honestly, with the pieces that he's got, he's not doing badly. And with 35% of the damage share as well in that game, certainly looking to perform as much as he could. And, you know, even on that Corky game that he played earlier on in the day, was still trying to get some good amounts of damage down in these team fights. But I mean, for EDG, it is just a highlight reel of honestly very good sequential plays.
Yeah. Pog votes. Is this a Xiaohao Pog, or is it a ZDZ Pog?
I'd prefer Xiaohao, to be honest.
Yeah.
ZDZ played very well, but I think that Xiaohao played also incredibly.
I mean, this is the Pog winning play right here for
Yeah.
me. Just being able to buy so much time with a well-timed ult into stasis, and that pretty much baits all of Team WE's hands into overextending for the play and pretty much seals the gold lead. Oh, this was tragic.
I mean, this was really good from Wink, to be fair. This was some solid body blocking and marking that you called out in the time. And you know, for EDG, there's plenty of good things to be looking at. I think that ZDZ came away with a couple of kills on the top side, which then set him up very easily to be able to just run away with that side lane matchup, and run away he did. Cube never really felt like any sort of a threat, right? I don't remember thinking, wow, this Corky's going crazy. It was always just kind of there.
Just another standard Corky performance, which, you know, if you're throwing it top lane and sacrificing what could have been another frontline member, another engage, that's not the scenario you are hoping for as Team WE, as we should be rounding out our Pog award from, or at least what the LPL official broadcast deems worthy of deserving.
You can't see it, but I'm drum rolling.
Me too.
They do a drum roll anyway.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, 3 for 3, baby.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty rare. That's pretty rare. Normally we conflict. Normally I conflict with the LPL broadcast quite highly. But I'm 3 for 3 today, so we're happy.
Hey, I know we're like thousands of miles away from each other, Roodood, but dap me up, bro.
Good. Lovely stuff.
Yep. You couldn't hear it, fam, but it was the sickest dap sound. It was a clean, crisp smacking of two palms. It was beautiful.
Like in the Sistine Chapel, the bros, they go, and
that's right.
It echoed.
Yeah. Do you want to be Adam or do you want to be God?
I'll take either, man. They're good cards to draw.
Huge. Well, that's gonna do it for us on our rotation of the first 3 games. Me and Roodood will be bowing out while our second caster duo comes in. But before we go, I actually have a special surprise, as I've recognized that a lot of our LPL unofficial English broadcast fans are very, very excited about. Wrong camera. Give me 1 second. I'm working on it. Oh, wait. I need to turn this camera on. Guys, I promise.
This is going to be worth it, guys. I promise it's going to be worth it.
It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it.
We are not gaslighting you. This is worth it, 100%. This is what the LPL English has been looking for, okay? Yeah. Not actual League of Legends. No. It's Mark and his great camera control.
Dude, this is always happening to me. I don't understand. Oh, wait.
Pause. Joko.
There
we go.
He's passed out right now. But you know, hang on. I'm just gonna.
Joko, hello. Lil bro, so cozy.
He's too cozy. He cannot be bothered to really get up right now. But
that's
I know the fans enjoy the Choco Cam. Oh, get a little stretch there. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, the stretch is worth it.
Okay. Anyway, my prod is screaming back at me. I'm assuming it's time to throw it a break. It's been an awesome blast with you all. It's been an awesome blast with you, Roodood. I'm so happy and stoked that LPL is back, and we still got more action. 3 more best of ones coming your way. Don't turn off that browser. We'll be right back.